Go!
Go. We made it, baby. We freaking made it. We dropped this webcam on real quick. Been a hot minute since I've done this. And where are you, webcam? Let's see. Okay. Webcam is not turning on, my friends. Wonderful. You know what? We can do it without a webcam today. I think that is A-okay. I doubt anybody really cares too much to see my ugly mug. So that is fine. I can actually see if I can open up the webcam on its own real quick. Actually, screw it. You know what? We're going webcam-less. That'll give you a nice big screen. We can use that together. We don't need a face. That's right. That's right, Riley. Let's go. Let me check out this chat. What's up, John, CG, Fred, Riley, Huskers, Benjamin? Oh, it's time to make money, baby. Sneaker Geek, you want to see my pretty face? You're probably at the wrong place right now, my friend. There's nothing pretty about this face right here. I have no clue, though, why the webcam did not open. So here's what we're going to do today. We are going to be looking at two things. We're going to be using first off, we're going to be absolutely using our NBA Study Hub. We're going to use the MLB Study Hub. There it is. And we're also going to do some tournaments type stuff. Here it is. Let me bring this over into the main screen. I was rushing here after I got my kids down for a nap. So we're going to do some tournament crap. We're going to build together on FanDuel. We're going to build together on DraftKings on Fantasy Cruncher. And we are also going to do a fair amount of MLB right here as well, okay? And real quick, let me just make sure, because I have no clue why my webcam is not working, but you guys can hear me, correct? Drop a yeah, we can hear your silky smooth voice in the chat. Holler at me and let me know that the voice is at least coming through. And if you can hear me, actually, here's a good way to let me know. Hit that subscribe button and hit that little thumbs up button at the bottom, that little like button. That stuff helps your homie out doing free content in the SEO game. So I appreciate that. Hey, awesome. All right, cool. So first off, let's drop this in chat, and then let's talk some NBA because we're all dying to do it. I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm not going to be that person that buries the lead. So boom, there we go. You can grab this. It's a slight overview of kind of who's in, who's out, talks about the study hub, little pace up, pace down, talks about the Vegas implied, and the ratings for FanDuel and DraftKings, and of course a link here. CG wrote this up. I want you to grab that though, and I'll talk about who's in, who's out. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to open up DraftKings. I'm going to open up Study Hub, and I'm going to show you what to do with the Study Hub and how I plan on using it. There's a few sections I want to look at today. And first off, this is the heat map, and I freaking love this. When we're, in the middle of this season going and we have all of these teams playing nightly, you're going to see this heat map become incredibly reliable. Of course, right now, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of it all. Oh, thank you very much for hitting those like button. That's really kind, guys. I appreciate that. Now, this heat map, when you are using this, I think it's going to be imperative to pay attention to the sample size. And we have it broken up to, well, how'd they do last game? What'd they do over the last 3 games? How'd they do over the last 5 games, last 10 games? And there's a few different trends that we're going to be paying attention to. Number one is going to be the fantasy points. We want to see who's shooting the ball well, who's accruing all those peripheral stats, and we're also going to be paying attention to the minutes. We know that minutes in NBA equals opportunity. We need opportunity to score points. Minutes equals opportunity. Opportunity equals fantasy points, right? So paying attention simply to the minutes trends, who's playing more minutes over the last 3, 5, 10 games, and really being able to identify why that's potentially happening is what we can do in Discord through our coaching. So if you see somebody who doesn't normally play as many minutes as they are over the last 3 games, let's say we sort this and we're like, okay, Brandon Ingram playing 37 minutes per game, maybe his season-long average is like 32 or something. What's going on? Why is he playing so many minutes right now? And then we can dive into that in chat. Another thing I'm going to be using is the times the player has hit the value multiplier. What that means is, let's say, over the course of the season, they have hit 5x, 73% of the times, like Brandon Ingram. We know that a player like Brandon Ingram hitting it 73% of the time at his current price tag of 7.3K means that he is going to be a fantastic cash option. On top of that, it might identify something like this. If we sort by 6x, that he is somebody right now that is just way too, who is this? Marcus Morris? 50. Oh, that was Marcus Morris the whole time. This is somebody who is just drastically underpriced based on their normal scoring habits. So 6 times his 4.2K FanDuel price tag, which would be what, like 25.2 points? He'll score 25.2 points 58% of the time this year at this price tag. And that is a very quick way to kind of give yourself a player pool based on their scoring habits and things like that. And I showed you your sample size. There's 55 games played for Marcus Morris. Clearly, we went back to last season for this stuff. Marcus Morris in 55 games at this price tag, 4.2K, will hit 6 times his value at 58% of the time. So this is how to read the heat map. You've got the fantasy point trends, minute trends, and then the times they'll hit value at their price point. And I really, really like this a lot because you can kind of use this to identify players that, maybe are better suited for tournaments that might not be the best for cash games. Something like, Reggie Jackson, massive, a third of the time he's going 8X. And then you can kind of sort it out and see where he hits these other markers based on that. Does that make sense? I hope it does. It's the first time I've really explained how to use it. The heat map's going to be very crucial for me personally for NBA. I run out those lineups that are, I run out those player pools that are like 15 to 20 players on FanDuel, DraftKings, superdraft. The small player pool is everything to me, and a lot of that it has to do with the trends. And I'm very heavy based on trends when I'm making my player pools. And yeah, I see what CG's posting right now. If Zion is out tonight, court will open up a bit. Someone like Ingram, who will slash to the basket a lot, he is somebody I'm going to lock in. I'm not even going to think twice about it. One thing I did want to talk about on Fantasy Cruncher today, and let's go ahead and just start doing this. This is the DraftKings player pool. By the way, if you ever want to, people always wonder how to use these tabs. Check it out. You want to look at point guards only? Boom, just click point guards. You want to look at point guards and, let's see, or maybe you want to look at centers only and power forwards only. You would hold on to the control button and you can hit those, but check it out. You also have this button, which I love that CG did, is he put the power forward and center eligibility. These guys are dual eligible. You can check out which ones are there by just clicking these filters. If you ever want to see them all, you simply click this button right here and it puts them all back into the player pool. So let's start doing some Fantasy Cruncher stuff, right? We've got our player pool. We're simply going to highlight and copy. We're going to go over to FC. We're going to go to our upload data, and I want to talk about how to do some FC today because I think with some of these massive tournaments, there's an opportunity here to be a little bit different in a way where I think you can make a lot of money. And part of it is going to be when you set your minimum and maximum salary allowed in your crunches. Oop, this is MLB. By the way, we're going to talk about this later today. I want to get to this, so don't go anywhere. Later today, we're going to talk about how to use these DK percentiles and FanDuel percentiles. I used these yesterday. I had $1,200 in play on FanDuel. I broke even just about $1,100, so I lost $100, but I did earn 287 of those $4 tickets. So I ended up making like $900 something in ticket value alone. So there's a way to use these, and I'm going to teach you guys how to use them today. I think it's crucial to use and why we're going to use those. So these percentiles are so crucial for baseball, and I will get to those next, but we're going to talk about NBA first, and then we'll get to that next, okay? All right, so we're doing DraftKings. We've got the rating system set up, and I actually think there's a way where if you upload the ratings columns into FC, you can actually crunch by their ratings, my friends. You can crunch by their ratings, and I will talk about that another day. But first, we're going to look at just their projections, and we're going to use those. All right, so I've got the DK projections. I am going to go back to Fantasy Cruncher. We're going to upload the projections real quick, and boom. All right, we've got the players in there. And game filter set for the 6:30 p.m. slot. We are going to switch this. I'll probably keep it a little bit tighter today. 2 uniques. Min salary. Do not touch the minimum today. There's not enough. Here's one thing I want you to focus on, though. If today you are going to be rolling out a 150 max or a 20 max in some of those massive DraftKings contests, be a little bit different by doing this. 49,900. So anywhere between 40 to 60% of the field. This is just something that's common knowledge out there. 40 to 60%. It's a nice big healthy chunk on these large MME contests. Will use up the entire salary, 100% of the salary. So if you simply set yourself apart and just say, well, 100% of my lineups are going to be in the 50% of the field rather than moving up and down with 100% of the field potentially. If you don't set a max salary, you are able to separate yourself, and it gives you a little edge. And when we're talking about tournaments where there is 700,000 people or something silly like that, simply cutting the field in half to 350,000 different lineups you're against, it gives you a little bit of an edge. And we need little pieces of edge so that we can find a way to climb the standings in these ridiculous sized contests. So something like that, if you're playing one of those crazy contests today, set a max salary, 49.9, 49.8, something like that. The lower you set it, you are also capping your ceiling a little bit, but on a 2-game slate, we're going to get a little crazy here. All right, here's the trick for today, and I'm not joking. As much randomness as you can swallow today, I'm going to do. So if that's 50%, if that's 100%, if that's 25%, whatever it is, you figure out what you're okay with and go from there. I want to try to really spread things out. I want to use some type of max salary cap so that we can try to be a little bit unique today when we're making our lineups. And this is our first time I've actually run through this today. So let's see what happens here, and we'll kind of adjust as we go. All right, so I saw CG talking about it in chat, and Jordan Clarkson being a solid value today, and you can see he's popping big time in our model, 80%, even with the 25% exposure. That gave us a 31-person player pool, which I do appreciate. Again, we'll have to be focusing on Zion Williams. If he ends up being out today, of course, we're going to have to boost up some of the Pelicans players, specifically players like Josh Hart will get some more minutes. Brandon Ingram's going to end up getting as many minutes as he can handle. Nicolo Melli gets a lot of starts whenever he'll start whenever Zion Williamson is out, and he's a guy who can shoot from the outside, so you can get some of those 3-point bonuses as well. And as CG is talking about right now, they have a pace bump right now. The Jazz do. So running it back with some Jazz players tonight, if you end up having quite a bit of exposure on the Pelicans, is a really nice idea. And you can see that clearly this is why the Jazz are the 3 highest owned players right now: D. Mitch, Jordan Clarkson, and Rudy Gobert. And I have no arguments here. This is something I like doing. When we look at the DraftKings Study Hub today for NBA, we can also sort by the DK ratings and look at the ratings. Paul George right here is the only non-Jazz player in the top 3, and he ended up being, I think, was he our 4th highest owned player? So, he ended up showing up well. Where is he? Yep, Paul George, 4th highest owned player at 65% of our lineups. The other 2 Jazz in there being the other 2 highly rated players in D. Mitch and Rudy Gobert. And here's Jordan Clarkson right down here as the 6th highest rated player today. So the DK ratings clearly showing well as far as our projections go as well. So that's what I actually like seeing right now, that the ratings column is very similar to what is actually happening when we start to crunch our lineups. By the way, if you want access to this, patreon.com/riseorfall. And if you're enjoying this free content right now, please hit that like button and hit that YouTube subscription button, because we will be doing live streams daily, Monday through Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I want you to be able to catch these every single day. Each day we will either do MLB or NBA, or if we have enough time, we're going to do both NBA and MLB, because that's the way we roll, baby. We're going to try to do as much as we can. Pay attention to this. This will be posting shortly as well. It's the initial picks pool. This will go out here, and I'll also be posting my tiered rankings, but I'm going to wait a little bit closer to pre-lock today so that we can make sure we have the best possible content we can that will be live when that will be a little bit closer to when lock is, right? If you guys have questions today, keep dropping them in chat. CG can answer them, and I will help you out as well. And we're going to keep on crunching. Now, let's go back to FC. A lot of people are going to be looking at this today and saying, Mitch, this isn't spread out enough. I want a little bit more exposure. I want to spread it out a little bit more. Here you go. One very simple way you can do that. And by the way, all we did was cap this at $49,900 here at the max salary. If you want a bigger player pool, there's two ways you can do it. Number one, you can roll out 3 uniques. Number two, you could increase your randomness, which will spread out your players. Let's take a peek. So I have set this to 3 uniques, and you can see outside those top 3, and even those top 3 are a little bit lower exposure wise, but everybody else starting to get spread out a little bit more. Awesome. Okay, cool. So that lowered the exposure. I mean, these 3 guys were 80% or higher. I think Jordan Clarkson, what was he, 78% in the other crunch? Yeah, and these two were 80%, 86%, and now they're a little bit lower. Paul George went from 65% down to 56%. Okay, so one other way we can do it, and again, that's with 3 uniques. You can do either or. Now, you can leave it at 2 uniques. Let's go back there, and let's jack this up. And I just kind of want to show you what happens here. And I really don't mind doing 100% randomness on a tournament where you got to be kind of silly if you're going to be beating 350,000 lineups. I mean, let's look at these NBA contests today. And I haven't even looked at them, and I'm in this one. No, I'm not in this one. Let's, where's the big one? There it is. I got 150 entries into the 900,000 people, my friends. So if you're crunching out lineups for a contest this size, set your variance, set your randomization up to as much as you can stomach. Embrace the volatility. Yeah, embrace the variance, CG says. 100% randomness. Set a max cap, $200, $300, $400 lower than whatever the max cap is, and just be different than the field. So if 600,000 people end up entering this tonight, and you set a max cap that is lower than whatever was it 60,000 on FanDuel. So if you set it like 59,800, you're simply going to cut that field from 600,000 down to like 300,000. And if you're going to be beating people today on FanDuel, you have to, make the field smaller. Shrink the field for yourself. Don't go up against 600,000 lineups. Go against 300,000 lineups by setting a max cap. So make sure you do that. Okay, here we go. So we set it up to 100% global cap. We went back down to 2 uniques. Let's take a peek at that one. We'll separate these 2 crunches. Here we go. All right, and you can see, look at the high end. And look at the players used. In the first one, we only had 31 players used. Now we have 36 players used. And look at the exposures. While they are still very similar to the order that we had these guys, I mean, we still have Clarkson, Mitchell, and Rudy Gobert as the top 3. Look, they no longer are 86% owned for D-Mitch, 80% owned for Rudy Gobert, and 78% owned for Jordan Clarkson. Now they are 57, so it's 31% less for D-Mitch. Here's our initial one, D-Mitch. Jordan Clarkson went from 80 down to 59%, and Gobert went all the way down to 54%. And then Paul George dropped down to the 6th highest owned guys, and then random guys like Danny Green bumped all the way up to 4th. You got some other players here getting some more exposure. And again, one final thing we'd have to do today is pay attention to Zion Williamson, because watch what happens as soon as we drop him out. Let's say he ends up getting out. A very quick fix today, and I would probably just tell chat to do something like this. If you're crunching today and Zion gets ruled out and, right before lock or something stupid, that would be incredibly frustrating. And we all know it would be at the 6:30 slate. Let's say it's like 6:28 and they drop them. Simply do something like this. Quickly add a thumb to, player like Ingram. Add another one to. Let's sort this by the Pelicans actually. I'm going to add another one to Favors, probably a couple to Melly, because his will boost as well. And that's a quick way to just kind of boost things, change things around. And all of a sudden, we've got 100% randomness with 2 uniques. And look, Melly ended up being 43%. I like that. We get a little bit more exposure to Favors. And where is Brandon Ingram? Ingram went from 20% up to 40%. That's good. Okay. And one final thing, if you want to just be a little bit kooky today, stretch this out. Go 3 uniques, 100% randomness, 100% global cap. Let it rip. And there you go. Very similar crunches, to be honest. They barely changed at all. All they did was kind of take a little bit of the high-end exposure and it spread it out to probably these guys at the bottom. Yep, there we go. So we got a few more from these types of players. Now, a player like Joakim Noah. Joakim Noah is going to be highly owned today. Everybody's talking about him around the industry. Everyone's saying, lock him in, lock him in, lock him in. How much Noah can you have today? Listen, that is how you can be different than the field today. A guy like Joakim Noah, who does not score baskets and relies entirely on blocks, steals, rebounds. Player like that who also can get into foul trouble when you got a guy like LeBron James, taking it to the rack every other possession. A player like Joakim Noah, listen, if he gets in foul trouble early and you are way underweight against the field, you have an opportunity to be very, very different very quickly. So pay attention to ownerships today and find ways to be unique, my friends. That's the best advice I can give today for DraftKings is MMEing in general. Just find ways to be unique. Now, let's look at some baseball. We'll do some FanDuel because here I am looking at FanDuel. And again, if you want the NBA Study Hub, DraftKings FanDuel, it is available, patreon.com/riseorfall. If you're watching this video right now, if you sign up right now, I will go ahead and refund you so that you can have access to all of our content today. And I have posted a new channel in Patreon to kind of help people find stuff, right? Because we have so much content. And here it is. It's called the Content Channel. How simple is that? And everybody who signs up here, if you go to the content channel, it will show you exactly what is live. It will give you a link to what is live and posted for this day. And if you want stuff for like PGA, MMA, NHL, NASCAR, all of those things, they're still posted in the proper channels, but I'm keeping a direct feed to whatever is posted this day, what will be posted this day, and it shows you where to get it and will give you direct links. So if you're somebody who canceled previously because you're like, man, there's just so much content, I don't know how to organize it. Well, here you go. It's going to be organized for you from now on. We've got it covered for you. It's right here. All right, so let's close out NBA. Bye-bye, Heat Map. I'll miss you. And let's do some work. All right, percentiles. How do you use them? What do you do with them? How do you use them for MMEing? And how do you use them for single entry? There's a lot to work on. First thing we're going to do is look at the main slate specifically. So I am going to filter just the main slate. I took out the early 12, 4, 5, and 6 o'clock games. Hey, if you're watching this right now and you see 50, 60 of you right now, please hit that like button. That like button helps me out big time. Hit that subscription button here for YouTube and hit that notification button so you make sure you catch all of these daily videos, these daily 1:30 p.m. streams. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to talk about this real quick. If you want to keep it generic and you don't want to worry about, the percentile projections, simply go to the projections copy paste tab, upload this into your optimizer, and just be on your way. But we're doing FanDuel today, so I want to look at pitchers first. We're going to go to the FanDuel projections, and we're simply going to upload the projections for FanDuel first into Fantasy Cruncher, and I want to do that first and foremost. And then we're going to talk about what to do with the percentiles for batters. So I've put in the pitchers for FanDuel, and again, I could have grabbed this from the copy paste tab, but I'm doing it the old-fashioned way because I know a lot of people need to see it. So here it is, FanDuel projections, highlight copy, go back to FC, hit that projections button, boom. Okay, we've uploaded our projections to the pitchers, and here we are. Now let's go back to the hitters tab. There's a lot of hitters here today, tons of them. What are we going to do? How are we going to differentiate ourselves from the field? Well, here's what happens when you have a slate where you have pitchers who are getting solid projections. The pitchers on FanDuel, because the projections are so darn high, they're much higher than they are on DraftKings. The pitchers end up getting used first, right? They become the more important thing when you're crunching lineup. So a way to differentiate yourself from the field, and I did this yesterday when I accrued 287 tickets in all those contests, I used specifically the percentiles. And let me show you why. So if we're looking at the projections for FanDuel right now, Mike Trout, 16 points, right? I mean, that is half of what some of these pitchers are, and he's the highest projected hitter. So if we're looking at other hitters, most of the hitters, we're talking about even some really good hitters who are going to, potentially produce well, like Will Myers and Aaron Hicks went off yesterday. Aaron Hicks, righty versus lefty splits. Very solid versus lefties. Look at this. I mean, we're talking about a guy who has 325 WOBA, 203 ISO, and a hard hit percentage of 45%. That's right here, guys. That's right here. This is what I'm looking at. WOBA ISO hard percentage against starting pitcher hand, which is John Means, who is a lefty. Okay, if we're looking at Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks only has 10-point FanDuel projection. So he is not going to be valued as much as a pitcher is because he's a third of the projection of most of the pitchers. So here's how you deal with this. I love this idea. You go to the FanDuel 25% column and you look at a guy like, who are we just looking at? Aaron Hicks. All right, so let's sort this by FanDuel projections. And Aaron Hicks should be down here. Here he is. Now look. His 25 percentile projection is now, if you go right here, is 22 points. So 25% of the time, in our models, he's going to score 22 points, right? He's going to clear 22.45 or whatever it is, 25% of the time. So what we're going to do to even out the projections for hitters and pitchers is we're going to use the percentile column for 25%, or if you want to go up a little higher, 15% if you're in a really big tournament, or if you want to do 50%, by all means do that. But I think there's an edge here. And what this, guys, I've talked about using weighted projections before. This is basically what weighted projections do. They will heavily weight certain positions or certain players, maybe take into account certain categories, and they'll just change the projections by weighting certain columns heavier. And this is what I mean by that. So by all means, today, what I'll do is I'll grab these hitters and let's do this quicker. Projections, copy paste, FanDuel hitters, and I can grab them here. Actually, no, let's do it the old-fashioned. I showed you the old-fashioned way the first time. I should do it the second time. All right, so here's Mike Trout. And we've got our main slate hitters. Batter matchups. Go back to FC. Upload data. Let's clear these rows. Okay, player name, Control V. Paste it in there, player name. And go back to the Rise or Fall Study Hub. Go to the batter percentiles. Oh, shoot, I probably should have done it in that order, huh? Okay, let's do this one more time. Let's sort by the percentiles. Let's grab all these hitters in order of their percentiles. Let's go back to FC. I will clear this row. Okay, here we go. Paste them. Go to the study hub. Grab the 25% FanDuel projection. Let's go back to FC. Drop the projection in there. Upload. Ready to rock. Okay, look, now our hitters, look at their projections. So much higher. Now they're weighted. Does the percentage work the same on DK? Yes, it does, Fred. That's a great question, homie. Thanks for asking. So when you were looking at this, let me close out these exclusive things. Here we go. Now I have less tabs open. That was messing with my mind. The DK percentiles, same exact thing. So look at the DK projection for Aaron Judge, 11 points, right? Go over to the 25 percentile. Look at that, man. 21 points all the way, way higher. So if you want to be able to increase kind of the importance of hitting, which we all know is way more important than pitching in MLB DFS, because the stacks drive where your lineups go. Use the percentiles, man. So while the industry is using very generic projections, which I think are okay if you're doing like a single entry or trying to make a cash game lineup, by the way, I think that's the way to use these when you do an optimal or whatever. But if you're doing 5-2 stacks on DraftKings, 4-3 stacks on FanDuel, use the percentiles. I don't care which one you use. I think 25, 15, 50%, something like that, I think is the way to go. So we've uploaded them. Now let's get to work here. And people always want to know, how do I do this? Going 3 uniques, min salary, 34,200. Global, let's go, I really like some of these targets today. Let's go 55%. This is generic, right? I changed this around. It's like 50, 60% per day. All right, randomness. So this is whatever you can stomach each and every day, whatever you want to put it at, as high as you feel comfortable going. Let's say I feel good about 25% today. So let's take a peek. We'll go to team stacks. We're going to set up our team stacks. 4, and let's go 40%. 1 gap. I don't want those big gaps in my stacks. I don't want it to be, if I put 2 gaps here, I don't want it to end up being like, a 1-2, missing my 3rd and 4th hitter, and then the 5th and 6th hitter in the lineup. I don't like that at all. So I'm going to have max 1 gap. Let's create a second stack, and this will be a 3-player small-sided stack, because that's the way to rock out on FanDuel. And let's make this one a little bit smaller. So a way to look at this, and however you feel comfortable, if you have 40% up top, 30% down here, what you're inherently saying is you're comfortable and you're confident with the Yankees being in 40 plus 30 in 70% of your lineups. You have said you are fine with the Yankees being in 70% of your stacks. If you're not okay with any team being in 70% of your stacks, lower this. If you don't want any team being in more than 50% of your stacks, drop this down to 30. Oops. Let me put this at, drop the 4-player stack side down to 33%. And if you said 50%, what's, 33 plus 17 is 50%. So now you've said, I'm not comfortable with more than, Yankees being in half my lineups. So there you go. You set it up so that 33% plus 17%, the Yankees will be in no more than 50% of your stacks. Okay, so whatever this percentage adds up to between the 4-player and the 3-player is what that means. It means however many your total is. Hit that like button if you're watching right now. That helps me out greatly. All right, so let's say I'm feeling pretty confident today, and I keep doing that. And I want 40% up top, and I'm okay with my 3-player stacks being, 25. So now I've said 65% of my lineup. So 2/3 of my stacked lineups, someone like the Yankees can be in. So we'll change this to 1 gap as well. 4 players was that 1 gap. And the last thing I do, I go to my pitching pool, and I released my tiered rankings, which I've already just closed out. But off the top of my head, let me try to remember what they were. This has got to be pretty close. Don't don't hold me to this, but it's got to be pretty close to this. I want to say this was very close to what I actually had in my actual pitching tier for MME. These two probably ended up getting in there, actually. All right. And let's crunch out 150 and see what it looks like. Now's your time to ask questions before the stream ends here, my friends. So if we're watching our pitchers real quick, you can see, because I have that 55% cap, a pitcher like Dylan Bundy is hitting the top of it because the projections show well for him. And one thing we're going to do at the very end, because Dylan Bundy is a volatile pitcher, my friends. This is a guy that can pitch very well or be very, very bad and get just absolutely shellacked. You can see 12, minus 15, 9 is what he does. He pitches well, and then he has these games. You know, it wasn't as prevalent last year in 2019, but in 2018, I mean, you saw he was disastrous at times. So if Dylan Bundy ends up being one of those pitchers that gets, you know, rocked today, and he's your highest owned pitcher, I think you've got to go out of your way today and get some Seattle team stacks at the end. And you can see right now, Seattle not even showing up in our 4-player stacks, and in our 3-player stacks, again, not showing up. So at the very end, what we'll do is we'll take some of our highest owned pitchers and we will stack against them. And my friends, there is no reason why you cannot stop this and say to yourself, okay, Mitch, you know what? I feel like I have enough Dylan Bundy. I don't feel comfortable. Take him out. Okay, do it. Then freaking do it. Uncheck Dylan Bundy. You've got 43 more lineups to do. Let's quickly make sure before we forget, we're going to do 10 lineups, and we're going to set our 4-player stacks, remove all teams, and let's go grab Seattle. We'll set them to 100, and we're going to make 100% Seattle 4-player stacks real quick, hedging our very high exposure to Dylan Bundy. Now let's go look at team stacks. Look, my friends, Seattle, we now have 10 hedged 4-man stacks of Seattle, because our pitcher, Dylan Bundy, is our highest owned pitcher so far against Seattle, right? So, while we have a third of our lineups invested in Dylan Bundy, now we have just about 7% of our stacks will end up being on Seattle. Does that make sense? That is how you hedge your pitcher investment. That is how you hedge in tournaments, and especially if you think Dylan Bundy is going to be higher owned today, which these FC Pro projections here have him very high, and I don't know what our study hub, what's he at? Oh, we don't have our projections up yet for ownerships. I would imagine he's going to be up there, my friends. Okay, so now we're going to go back to advanced options, and we're going to add back all teams, and this is going to be at 40%. Seattle back to 40%. And now we're going to crunch our final 33 lineups without Dylan Bundy. And let's take a peek at our pitchers again. Let's see who ends up getting the boost here. Oops, did I add Bundy back in? Oops, I did. Oh, well. Listen, let's take him out, and we'll do it for 28. There we go. 28 non-Dylan Bundy lineups. We'll see what pitchers get used here. All right, Barrios, Lamet, Max Fried's getting some. All right, so do you see what happened with the high-end pitchers? And I'll stop it real quick. Remember, I talked about this in the beginning. Because we used the 25 percentile column for the projections, what we did is we made the pitcher projections incredibly unimportant, right? And if you want them to remain important, if you're like, well, Mitch, now I'm not getting any exposure to Shane Bieber. Well, that's the point, my friends. We want the importance to be on those hitting stacks because, we saw it yesterday. We had some Padre stacks. I think I listed them as a tier 2 and talked about them in Discord, to the RONIN tier members, that they are a team where if they pop off, which they had some players do, score 25, 30 points on FanDuel, if you have a 4-player stack and all 4 hitters score 25 plus, you're getting 100 points from that hitting stack. And meanwhile, you had pitchers like Garrett Cole scoring just 42, and you had DeGrom, I don't even think cleared 28 points or something, right? And they became inherently less important, and those stacks where those 4 players went off for 100 plus were way more important. And this is identified when we're looking at the FD stacks, right? Where, here's San Diego. If they can clear 86 points today on the stacks tab for FanDuel, they're going to be way more important than a Shane Bieber 48-point game. So, but if you look at this at the end and you're like, but Mitch, I just don't feel good about this. I need some Shane Bieber. Please give me some Bieber. Bieberlicious. Here's the Yanks, by the way, 42 plus 20%, 60%. So, slightly above what we had set our settings at, and that's fine. I mean, it's going to be, you're towing the line a little bit. That is pretty much what you're working to do. So if you've got 17 lineups left and you know that you just need Bieber, you're like, I need him. I feel like I'm missing out. If he goes for what he did that first game, a 70-point game, you're right. You probably won't win without that. But if he doesn't get that, you're likely winning pretty much all those teams that don't score 50 plus at that price tag. They're dead in the water. They're paid up for pitchers, and their stacks are very cheap stacks, second tier, third tier type stacks. So anyways, let's crunch it out. Let me show you. So now we're crunching out Shane Bieber for the remainder stacks, and let's look at the teams being used. All right, KC got one, a 4-man stack. Boston got one. We had another one down here. San Diego, Cleveland's getting used. So these second-tier stacks are getting used a little bit more. And even if we do get a solid 4-man stack, we ended up getting one more Yankee team. The second 3-player stack can't be an expensive one, and now I just saw it. I mean, teams like Baltimore got used a little bit more. The Mets got used a little bit more. We saw Atlanta get used, I think, 2 more times. So as soon as we went up in the price tier for Shane Bieber, we ended up getting some weaker stacks with lower ceilings. And now we can go over to our players, look at all. All right, Gleyber Torres. So we had that 55% global cap. If you want to see the lineups he's in, you can just hit this little search bar. One thing I actually like doing sometimes is I go to my pictures, and maybe I want to see, okay, well, what lineups is Lamet in? All right, well, we can look. We can look right now. Okay, Lamet's with a Boston and New York Met 4-3 stack. Lamet is with a New York 4-3 stack with the Dodgers. And you can do this up and down. Oh, here's a Yankee Boston 3-4 stack with Lamet as the pitcher. And when you hit that search bar on the pitcher, you can kind of see that. And if you want to look at, same thing, if you want to go over to the Yankees 4-man stacks, you can look at the Yankees 4-man stacks, go back to the players, and you can look at, who's used in these, how many percents are they used for these. Pretty cool, huh? All right, cool. Man, we hammered it out a lot in that 45 minutes. NBA, MLB. Look at this overlay, though, my friends. I mean, this isn't going to get close. This is not going to get close today to filling up. It's not even going to get close. Let's see. Questions. Let's do it. Questions. What kind of questions you got today? Fire them off in the chat section for me. And I'm going to try to figure out how to get my webcam up. Will you guys give me a minute or two? I don't know why it's not loading. I feel like I deleted the program like a moron. Like, what a bobo. How did I do that? I legitimately can't remember even what the actual software was to be able to stream. Like, what in the world did I have on for my webcam? Secret sauce for the Millie KB, set a max salary. I alluded to that a little bit earlier. These are massive contests. Set a, I guess that would be for NBA, but set a max salary today and, $59,700 or something. Make sure you do that. I do that on DraftKings and FanDuel, man. I wouldn't even think twice. I mean, that is just such, those pools are just so redonkulous today. They're like 800,000 entries. If you enjoy this stream today, please, 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 please hit that like button right now. Hit that sub button. These are daily streams. Chroma Cam. There it is. Upload. Requires running function. Oh, great. Huh. Okay. Well, I don't know what I did. I'm going to have to restart so I can get my webcam up and running next time so you can see my bald head. What a moron. Let's build some stacks for MLB and single entry. Why not? All right. So, one of my tier 1 pitchers today in the... Let me open this up. Let me make sure I got this right. RONIN links. Let's go to... tiered rankings. Oh, by the way, this is pretty cool. CG posted a new picks and starter stack sheet. This is off his top 5 ratings, which he has kept hidden. You guys cannot see the MLB ratings. These are off screen. Okay, so... Oh, I didn't even open it, did I? Tiered rankings. Percentiles for single entry, Chris? Yeah, absolutely, man. Just make sure you're crunching for 1. If you need that video for how to create an optimal lineup, it is right here on YouTube, by all means. Okay, so let's go to FanDuel tiers. And Lamet is my only tier 1 pitcher, so let's build around him. I know the Giants had, you know, a little offensive punch last night, but I've always liked Lamet, man, because he's got the strikeout upside. I think he can clear 6 innings tonight as well. Very talented young pitcher, 9.2K. What I like about him, too, is he's, you know, Bieber's clearly going to be highly owned tonight, and I think that gives you a nice pivot. And what I like about Lamet, again, is that price tag is awkward, right? Like, how many people are going to say, I want Bundy tonight, I want Stripling tonight? They're probably going to pass on Barrios against Cleveland. And, you know, Bieber potentially a little bit lower owned than usual because the Twins offense. And J.A. Happ can get blown up. And Baltimore, you know, they've shown they've got some pop here. It's hot, it's humid in Baltimore. But anyways, I think the price tag for Lamet is just weird, right? Like, if anybody doesn't go with these AK options, they're going to say, well, why am I paying for Lamet? I'm just going to go up and get Bieber. Game log watchers, especially at the beginning of the year, are going to be a little bit more popular. No problems, Chris. Game log watchers at the beginning of the year are going to look at this and say, holy crap, I'm going to plug in Bieber. I'm not going to think twice. So go with the awkward choice, and Dinlinson Lamet is just going to be, he's going to be lower owned because of that weird price tag. Let me post something real quick. This is live still. Yay. Let me post this. All right, if anybody's watching right now, you want to help me out real quick, remember, I don't have a marketing team. One-man wrecking crew. It's me. CG helps me out. Retweet that for me. Appreciate your help, fam. Okay, so we got Lamet there. And now I had my tier 1. I closed it again. My tier 1 stacks, tier 1 rankings. All right, San Diego and New York. Let's build one. Let's look at the Yankee pricing real quick. Dirt cheap. What happened to the Yankees pricing? That's so ridiculous. I mean, that's going to make them pretty chalky. But, I mean, we've already got a semi-unique pitcher, which I do like and I appreciate. And if I go look at these projections, let's look at the 25. By the way, somebody just asked it. Let's take a peek, actually. Let's create an optimal lineup. I am intrigued. That did get my mind, the juices going. Let's uncheck Bieber, and let's go with an optimal with Lamet. Let's create a single lineup. And an optimal build with Lamet would end up with A 4-3 stack with the Royals and Austin Riley as a one-off. Hot dang, that's a good lineup, man. Solar, Perez, Mondesi, batting 2, 3, 4. They're cheap. 2,600, 2,900, 3,700. By the way, if you guys ever play single entry, this is a really, really way to go. Chris S., that's your call for this video today. I ended up using 25%. Chris S. Mark Cherry. Mitch, I know this is not the right way to play, but I have to use my phone for FC. Any idea how to upload percentiles? It might not be possible. Yeah, it's possible. You gotta, I think on your phone, you simply just upload the sheet in the desktop mode, and then you can highlight and copy that way. But actually, there's people in Discord, and this video might actually help you in our strategy channel. Let me find that real quick. Uploading projection. Okay, here's the iPhone link. So you can try that out. I know people have used that for things, and I guess the process is very similar with what you have to use to open up this stuff. So give that a look, okay? But it's in Discord. I mean, everything you guys need is always in Discord, man. By the way, I want you to check out, please, if you're watching right now, the new content channel. Very, very, very easy to use. Very easy to use. All live content for this day in one channel. Not a long feed. It won't be a long feed. It'll just be in a single post that I will continue to update. That means when final notes are written, I'll just write live here. And if you want to find them, you go here, you just click that link. I mean, I just showed you. You just click this link. It brings you right to it. You can grab what you need. Very simple. Every time you log into Discord first time, I think the first channel you should always go to right away is content, and then go from there. Go get your coaching. Go into the RONIN channel, get your coaching. I mean, CG's in here talking about stacks, people to go with. Talking about the heat map right here, showing KC being a good stack. Blah blah blah. What's your question? Will the percentiles be available in NBA? I don't know. CG will have to answer that. He's been he took over the sheets for me, so I can focus on other things. All right, cool. That's pretty dope, guys. So if you ever want to do like a single entry, that's all you got to do. That's an optimal 4-3 stack using Lament. I mean, if you don't want to use Lament and you had my pitching pool and my tiers, I mean, look at that. The optimal build actually has Lament as a pitcher. The stack is a little bit different, though. Slightly different. I can't tell who the difference is. It took out, who did it take out? It took out Sanchez. And it added LeMahieu? No. Huh. It added Gleyber Torres. That was the switch. I'm down with that. I'll take Gleyber Torres over LeMahieu. Or excuse me, I'll take Gleyber Torres over Sanchez all day, every day. Wouldn't you? That is sick. That is sick. That's a really cool way to create optimals, especially for single entry on FanDuel. But I digress. For you hand builders, let's do this thing. I'm going to eat some of this, and I want to build around the Padres. And I want to make the Padres my 4-player stack just so I can be a little bit more unique. Of course, I'm going to be rolling out Fernando Tatis. Won't even think twice. Trent Grisham, yup, lefty versus righty. Grisham last year as a rookie, I talked about him ad nauseum with who was it? Who's the other guy? Aquino for the Reds. Remember, you guys remember that? I was like, guys, he just got called up today. We're gonna use him. Everyone lock him in. And he had went on that like crazy home run streak. I don't know if you guys were with me during that time, but over on I think we were using him on DraftKings. He was like mispriced at $2K for like a week, and we locked him in. All of my Discord members locked him in. We were printing money. But anyways, Grisham. Who are they facing? Who's pitching? Is it a righty? Yeah, guys, he's going to be at the top of the order today. I think he's been batting. FanDuel sucks. I mean, this says 9th projected order. I don't think this is accurate. I think he was batting second last night behind Tatis. So I think he's going to be up in the order. But anyways, I'm starting my lineup like this. And the way that Grisham is hitting, he's protecting Tatis. Tatis is going to keep seeing fastballs. They're not going to want to put him on base. Grisham's going to be hitting well. I think... I wonder if Hosmer's ill, so he's not going to be in the lineup. Will Myers hitting the ball real well. I probably plug him in too. And who else do I want from them? I know this is how you guys do it. You single entry guys. You don't even look at the sheets. You have this massive freaking database that you can use and you don't use it. I love you. I love you, but this is so much harder to me. Yeah, Higgs remembers the Aquino week. The Aquino week was amazing. Oh, and on fantasy draft, that's right. Aquino and Grisham were both called up. They both wanted these monstrous mammoth tears for like 10 games, and they were min-priced. The sites did not adjust. In every single game, we did not follow 5-2 stack rules on DraftKings. We stopped worrying about 4-3 stacks on FanDuel. On fantasy draft, I think we forgoed those crazy 6-1-1 stacks we could do, and we ended up just plugging those two in. We locked them in for MME, and we just crunched lineups around them and did the best that we could. I mean, that's why I say there's no rules in DFS. You only worry about guidelines, right? It's all guidelines, and you just do the best you can with what each slate is, and each slate is unique. You know what, guys? The more I look at this, I kind of want to just lock these three in. There's no other guy I feel like I need. The only other one I kind of really want to go out of my way to get, but will only plug him in if he's going to fit later, is going to be where do you go? Tommy Pham at 3.7K, just because I think that price tag is going to make him like awkward, right? Like, who wants to plug him in? I guess you could go Machado up here, batting, top 3 in the order at 3K. That's a fine option too. But let's go ahead. Let's go to the Yankee side of things. And man, we have 3.2K. It's too easy today with how cheap these freaking Yankees are. I don't like it, man. They're way too cheap. Let's try it. Start with Judge. And I think this one-off is going to be away from Sanchez. I don't want him. I just don't want him. Let's go to KC. Sell Perez, 2.9K. Give it to me, baby. Actually, I forget we can go first base here. You know what? Let's go back to the sheet. Screw you guys. I'm using it. FanDuel projections. I need a first base. Catcher first base. Give me a... All right, got the main slate. First base catcher. Oh, did I check that wrong? Oops. What'd I do here? Give me everybody. And... all right, there it is. Dang it, I forgot how to do it, CG. Got first base. Now I can do this quickly. I want first baseman only for these 7, for the main slate. What did I do? All right, screw it. Let's sort. All right, we'll go back to the percentiles. We'll sort by first base. Ah. D. All right, here we go. Catcher first base. It's right here. What a moron here. FanDuel position. I got my first baseman. I got the main slate up. Yeah, it was. Chad, I'm a moron, man. I was looking at DK position. So stupid, right? Thank you, Chad. I did see your message. That's what caught my eye. All right, so we've got our first base, and let's grab the best value. Sal Perez, still here. Who's got the best percentile projection? 25th percentile. Pete Alonso. Man, he's expensive, though. $3,900. I don't want to pay up for Pete. Man, I think it is Salvador Perez. All right. My first inclination was correct, I guess. Let's go with Perez. Remember when Miggy Cabrera had power? Those were the days. Man, I guess you could plug in Luke Voigt. He's only been hitting against lefties. Anyways, let's plug in Perez. Royals offense is so good lately. All right, let's go to the Yankees and let's finish this lineup. LeMahieu, hot. Third base. Andahar, and go down to utility. Ah, we just missed Stanton. Oh man, that would have been nice. You know what? Let's plug in Hicks. It's too cheap. All right, Judge. How can we adjust this? This is why I don't like doing single entry, man. Single entry. When I can just simply go, hey, optimizer, give me a Lamet lineup and a 4-3 stacker on the Yankees. Go. And it does this for me? Why do you guys keep banging your head against the wall? Hand building lineups. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Here, let's do this. Freaking single entry, man. I want a 3-player stack, and I only want it to be Padres. Look at that. How do you not like this lineup, too? I mean, what? It gave me Grisham. Pham. And I could drop Pham for Fernando Tatis if I want. Right? Like, I can adjust this manually. I can adjust this manually right here. Ah, man, there's so many great options. Like, why do you guys go into FanDuel? Well, I guess if you don't have this. All right, that's cheating. If you don't have Fantasy Cruncher, I get it. You're right. We can't afford it, Mike. I got you. Single entry life. I mean, you single entry players, though, at least for me, please, at least do this. At least simplify things and do this. You look at the tiered rankings, Padres, Tier 1, Yankees, Tier 1, and at least build around that. Lamet, Tier 1 single entry team, and you build that way, right? We can at least do that together. 3,700, third baseman. This is why I just get jammed up. All right, so Judge, you're gone. We'll go put Hicks in here. I get that you guys love the crafting these, though. I mean, it's a good feeling when you got it figured out, right? Not for me. It's just stressful. Put Judge in there. Now I got 4,100. Okay. Now I see. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 Yankees, 3 Padres, and actually, I get it now. I love you guys because I've gone ahead and put in my 3 favorite Padres, and there's no way Andahar sits again, is there? If so, I guess you could plug in Ursula. But look, now I have catcher first base. I have $4,100, and I can grab just the best ceiling. And the guy we talked about, oh my gosh. And this is why now I'm the biggest single entry fan on earth, because I just figured out how to do it. MMEing is so fun, though. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see here. FanDuel, and we're looking at first base. Look, Pete Alonso, we sorted by the percentiles. And there he is, man. 3,900. He's the buy-up option. Bats righty versus lefty against Martin Perez. Oh, boy. By the way, a really sneaky option today. Dodgers stack. I like the Dodgers because of Robbie Ray's issues with walks. You can't put a lot of people on base against the Dodgers. That's a pretty good lineup, my friends. Cool. All right. That's enough. I mean, that took me like 15 minutes, though. And meanwhile, is there any difference in this one? I mean, how many of you probably just copied this and said, oh, yo, that's a dope lineup. I want it, right? And, I mean, here I go. Watch this. I made this crunch. Why don't I just upload this lineup right now? Boom. Look. I just made that lineup and go to my upcomings. And there they are. Baseball. There's that lineup I just made. It took me a half second. The beauty of FC and using projections. Perhaps you guys could give a quick tutorial on FC Rewind next week. Those are out there, Fred. Those are out there, my friend. I'll find one for you. Manny does them. I don't need to go into his space. CG does FC Rewind literally 24/7 whenever him and I are not talking. So I would suggest even just tagging him and in the RONIN tier channel, Discord, and just talking with him. If you're watching this stream, by the way, please, by all means, if you want to join, do it today. And I will give you, here, use this link. What up, Tab Bro? Hey, Mr. 1K himself, winning last night. Thank you very much. Good job, Tab Bro. Hit that like button, you 50-something people watching. That helps me out. If you guys join today, I will refund you so that you can use all of our content, our study sheets, our study hubs, all these tiered rankings, all this crap. You can use it all. I want you to use it all. And you can use it all today and tomorrow for free. And then August 1st will be your first actual charge. So by all means, just use it. Use that link right there. Just post it in chat. And by the way, down below, I can't believe I buried this lead. Down below in the description section, get a free month with us. A free month by using the monkey knife fight. By using the monkey knife fight link right there. How cool is that, my friends? Let me bring this on screen. I'm very excited about this. We partnered with them. Check this out. I got to lean back. I got to chill a little bit. It's a long stream. So, just follow instructions here. You get a free month with us. This includes our current members who do not have a membership over at Monkey Knife Fight. So, if you are a member of Rise or Fall and you want a free month, like you want your August month comped instead of paying $30 for the Ronin tier, just do this. And if Monkey Knife Fight emails me your username saying you're eligible, then I'll be able to give you a free month. Pretty cool, huh? That's pretty dope. So, I mean, pay $30 for Rise or Fall, or just deposit 10 and then play that $10 at Monkey Knife Fight, and you get a full month access for free with Rise or Fall. So you can save $20 on your Rise or Fall membership for the month by simply using this promo. You get Rise or Fall, and I just showed what you get. You get this entire freaking list of things for the Ronin tier for $10. You get it for 10. It isn't. Hey, what's up, Allie? It's only $10. Just use this promo, and you get. And you got to play it, by the way. You have to deposit 10, and then you have to play 10, I believe. Yeah, so you got to play. You got to play to receive your free month. And then within 48 to 72 hours after you play, they will send me an email with your username, and then I will simply match the username. Match your username email with my Patreon one, and I'll give you a free month through my Patreon refund tab. Pretty cool, huh? So go ahead, either pay $30 for a Ronin tier this way, or pay $10 through monkeyknifefight.com and do it for just $10 and get access. No brainer, baby. Man, what a long stream. What a long stream. Freaking hungry. I'm going to feast after this stream. I feel like a professional athlete, guys. Like I need to get one of those floating tubes. I got to get a floating tube. Got to recover, post-stream recovery. Make sure my neck gets underneath the water. That salt water, it's good for the neck. You know, the vocal cords. Got to take care of those. Those golden pipes. Down in the welcome. Yo, 28CJD. What's up, man? Chad? Oh, Chad, first time. What's up? Can't play in Tennessee. Mark, no. Thanks for the message back. No doubt, bro. You could see, by the way, if you're ever like Mitch, why aren't you replying right away? I mean, you saw my, anybody see this tweet? I sent a tweet out. This is pretty cool. I can't show you the full server. It's kind of, I think it's like exclusive property. So let me show you the messages. This is why Rise or Fall members get the best, baby. Tell me, show me another company where a CEO is sending this many messages in the last 14 days. This is my coaching, man. This is coaching. CG, who was on vacation for a freaking week, still hit 1,000 over the last 14 days. 2,800 messages I've sent over the last 14 days, my friends. You don't get coaching around the industry from owners, those top owners. You don't get it. You don't get it at this level. I'm in there all day, all night, man. Hell yeah, there you go. Is there anything else I need to cover today? I feel like we covered it all. I hope you guys like this content. What do you guys think of that content channel? Let's see, is there any new stuff? Postponed. Still waiting on the post from Scrosby. He's going to post an NBA initial player pool. And let's see, what's teammate cooking up? All right, so he hasn't posted his player pool yet. He's got the probable starting pitcher, single entry player. By the way, he's going to be adding a cash tab today. He's going to be doing cash games too. He's going to put everything all in one spot. That's how we're just trying to get efficiency. Yeah, improving stuff daily, Allie. That's the goal, right? I mean, we're going to have this picks sheet, which is going to be single entry and cash games. And then you'll have, you know, everything else in the study hub, which will have all the projections, all that stuff we were talking about. Stacks tab, DK stacks tab. I mean, you get this for freaking 20 to 30 bucks, guys. I mean, come on. Then the RONIN links will have the tiered rankings. Did I post that? I did. This is live. Tiered rankings today, FanDuel and DraftKings. And then I saw CG post his ratings picks and starter stacks. FanDuel, DraftKings. And then you'll get the cash game picks. You'll get final player notes and exposures. This is what I mean by those. So you need to quit your job to keep up with all the content? Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't advise that. Fancy Guru Drew posting early slate stuff. I mean, here's notes. Here's what notes look like. Talked about Cole and DeGrom not being locked. Said they're mispriced yesterday. Build around Haney, Hill, Woodruff, Paddock. That worked out well. Huh? Capped my pitchers. I talked about how I approach the slate, capping pitchers. Talked about how I did my stacks. Using tier 1s and tier 3s, blah, blah, blah. Paddock and Woodruff as a combo on DK 5-2. You know, this is what I do. I just give out these little notes for people. And then, you know, I posted my exposures. My hitting exposures. We do this daily. NBA, FanDuel. NBA and MLB. I know you guys like that content tab. Oh, I like it too. Thank you very much. 39 likes today. Thank you very much. You guys rock. T-May making the run at Rookie of the Year. Yeah, he is. Kid works hard. That guy works hard. Again, $10. Deposit $10 over here as a first-time user. Use this promo code and that link posted in the description section of this YouTube video. $10 gets you access to a $30 value at our Patreon site. No brainer. All right, fam. I'm going to go rest the vocals. Hour and 20-minute stream. That's a long one for me. Going to work on May NBA exclusives, and then we're going to focus up. Somebody's going to win a milli tonight. It's going to be from Rise or Fall. Let's do it. Thanks for tuning in today. Thank you very much for your support. I love you all very much, and I will catch you tomorrow, Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Do not forget, this is daily. 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I will see you again tomorrow, 1:30. Peace out, fam.